Hello and welcome. Great to see you today. My name is Victor Tarfa and today is Sunday. So Victor Tarfa on a Sunday, what does that mean? That means Sunspiration. Now if you're looking at one for the first time, what is Sunspiration? I just came across this. I'm not sure what this is about. I'm not even sure what's going on here now. I want to say to you, number one, stay tuned and just watch. Today is a special edition, is the final of the series that I've been talking about. This is number 5. And Sunspiration is inspiration from the Holy Bible. As the Holy Bible, I believe a human being, when we were created, a manual was given on how to operate this machine called a human being. And I believe that we were created by God, and God gave His word, so that in every situation we find ourselves, everything we need to do in this world, the answer lies in the Holy Bible. So as a Christian myself, as a transformational speaker, every Sunday I come to you with a Bible conversation, with a Bible inspiration, so that I can inspire you and get you fired up for the week. So let's go and dive straight into it. Today is the 5th of the series that I've been talking about, and the series has been walking through this season with God. And we went through this season which we called COVID-19, which is a virus that ravaged across the whole earth and has killed so many people. And my prayer goes out every day to everyone that's lost someone in this period or in this time. But also, as a Christian, sometimes you begin to wonder and begin to ask, how did this happen? Where did this come from? But most importantly, I think, is how do we get through this season with God? And that's why I created this series with 5 videos. And if you haven't watched the rest, it's on my YouTube channel, it is on Instagram, and it's on my Facebook channel. So just check Victor Tarfa. I mean on my Facebook page, and just check Victor Tarfa and you will find it on there. So the first one I spoke about was who is He to us, as in who is God to us. And the second one I spoke about was who are we in Him, who are we in God. And the third topic I spoke about is why has He allowed this to happen? Why did He allow this to happen? He is God. He controls the whole earth. So why did He allow COVID-19 to ravage the whole earth and take over everything and bring us to our knees and the world to stand still? And the fourth one I spoke about was how to walk through with Him. That was last week. And today is the final one, which I'll be talking about the other side. You know, when you walk through a tunnel, everyone talks about the light at the end of a tunnel. And the question is, what is on that other side? Because I believe when we know what's on the other side, or we have an idea of what's on the other side, we can live in hope and we can have faith for better things to come. So they are all interconnected. I would encourage you to watch all of them and right on to the last one today. So what's on the other side? The other side. Now I went to this manual and I searched for people who went through tough times, who were swept off their feet unexpectedly like COVID. And I picked on 4 people, 4 very powerful messages in there. Well, there's so many in there, but these 4 I think resonate with me in my own personal story. And also, I just felt they were the ones I was led to talk about here. So very quickly, I'm not going to go into too much of it because of time, but I'm just going to summarize and then I'll just try and tell you what the other side looked like for them. So first was Joseph. Now, I'll just read the end or what happened finally at the end from the manual so you can get exactly what happened. And it says, so Pharaoh said to Joseph, I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt. Now remember, he was sold into slavery, and then now he has been put in charge of the whole land of Egypt. He was thrown into a pit. He was sold into slavery. He was now sold to Potiphar, where his wife accused him of trying to sleep with her. Then he was thrown into prison. He presented dreams for those in the prison and told them, remember me when you go out there. And when he went out there, they forgot about him. But finally, one day the king had a dream. And one of the king's cupbearers said, hey, hang on. I know a guy that can tell you what this dream is. And he remembered him. And he called him out of prison. He shaved, he cleaned up himself, and he went to meet the king. And the king made him the governor. Now, with the tough life he went through, it was a tough season for him. But on the other side for him, because he stayed faithful, consistent, and kept on pushing, and never allowed his dream to die, he ended up becoming the governor. Now next is Job. I'm sure of us heard the story of Job. Job went through a tough time to himself because the devil went to God and said, look, it's your son Job. He's only serving you because he has tons of money. And God said, no, I know he loves me. And he said to him, yeah, test him. Job was sitting at home and he came and told him he's lost all his children, all his oxen, his houses. He lost everything, but he still continued serving God. He kept on walking through with God. And then finally the devil says, oh, hang on here. I know, because you haven't touched his body. And God said, don't touch his life, but you can touch his body. And then obviously he had boils in his body and he was sick. His wife said to him, just curse God, forget about his whole thing. And I'm sure there are things we do in this life. There are things we push for in this life sometimes. And then people come around and say to us, look, forget this thing, it's not going to work. Just watching what Elon Musk did a few weeks ago. I was listening to him this morning. 3 times they failed at launch. 3 times. And they ran out of money. And he still went ahead and did the 4th time. And now he's got a contract over $2 billion to supplies to the space station. Imagine, what if he gave up on the 3rd one? Because everyone else, even Neil Armstrong at the beginning, that's the man that walked on the moon, said to him, nah, don't bother. There's no point doing this. But he carried on and he did it. The same way, the person closest to him, Job's wife, said to him, forget it, just curse God. This is too much for you to bear. But he stayed on. He walked through with God. And I'll just read out to you what the final part was. And he said, after Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord made him prosperous again. And he gave him twice as much as he had before. Twice as much as he had before. For him on the other side, he ended up with twice as much as he had before. Yes, it might have been a tough season, but as long as you stayed with God, you held on to him and you pushed through this season, you could end up with twice as much as he had before. Thirdly, Daniel. Now, he put him in lions den, and overnight, the king could not sleep. Now, this might resonate with you, because there might be some people that maybe they set you up. Maybe they've lied about you, and then you're feeling so sad and you're wondering. Remember, the king could not sleep all night when Daniel was in lion's den. And when he woke up in the morning, he rushed there quickly, and he called on Daniel's name, and Daniel was still alive. Wow, Daniel was still alive. And when the king realized Daniel was still alive, king now made a rule. He said, I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom, people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel. Wow. Because Daniel stayed true to God and walked through this season with God, God got the glory at the end. And even the king said, nobody should worship any other God but Daniel's God. So now, for those who walked through this season with God, God is going to put so many testimonies in our mouth. And when we share how we push through this season with God, we can always do that with confidence. And just by the words of our testimony, people will get to follow God more and get to know more about him, because they want to know, you know what? How did you get through this? How come you're still smiling? Because we know we decided to walk through this season with God. Now, just before I say the 4th one, just remember, it's not really about this particular season now. It could be any other tough season you've been through. Tough seasons will always come in this life. So you can take this message and apply it, because tough times always come. And this could work for you, just focusing on the end, what is on the other side. And then number 4, I'll say it's actually myself. I need to just share a bit of a personal story. A few years ago, I was absolutely broke and I was sick. I was ill, and I was lying in bed. And I had been doing some work in Nigeria for quite a while. And like everything more or less felt like it's come to a standstill. And I sat down thinking, now I need to move myself forward, but I've got no money. Now I need to do more stuff. I need to do more trainings. I need to deliver more events. I need to do a lot of more things, but I couldn't afford to do it. And even if I had the cash to do it, I was ill. I was lying there in bed. I was ill. I was on so many tablets. It was even unbelievable. I think I was swallowing like 13 to 15 tablets a day. And I just stood in the kitchen one day, and God spoke to me and said, why are you trying to sow in your harvest season? And that sentence I heard in my head was so clear because I did not understand what season I was in. But I felt it was a tough season anyway because I was struggling. I felt, you know what, everything I've done is going to go down the drain. And as I stood there and had a full rethink of my life, that was how my book, The Seasons of Life, was born. That was the other side for me. I was able to write a book because of a tough time that I went through. And I remember just a few days ago, I was talking to someone who called me and said, you know what, I couldn't sleep last night. And I just woke up, I just read your book actually. And the whole idea of the book it's like a manual so anyone can read it easily. Like a coffee table book. It's like in an office. If someone comes into the office waiting to see somebody, it's a short book. It was printed in a way that it could be read easily, even by those that don't normally read books. And that was the whole idea. And he said to me, I just woke up at night, I couldn't sleep. And I just saw your book and I thought, oh, let me just read this. You know, I was so blessed. I was so impressed. And this guy that gave me the feedback is actually a top medical surgeon. And I was blown away. I was like, wow, I'm so blessed to hear that. So for someone who is that intelligent to even read it and say they were blessed by it, you can imagine, what if I didn't go through a tough time? There's a very good chance I would not have written that book. A lady once reached out to me and said, I started reading your book and I stopped at a certain page. And then suddenly I was lying down. I was tossing and turning in bed. And when I looked up, I just saw the sign, The Seasons of Life. Because she was going through a tough season at that time. And she grabbed the book. And she said when she opened the page, when she read it, because there's a part I talked about going through tough times, which is a tough season of life. She said she was so blessed. It's like she was looking for an answer and she found the answer straight in there. What if I didn't write the book? What if I didn't go through a tough time? That's the results I could create on the other side. So it is so powerful sometimes. You're going through a tough time. Try and learn through it. Don't just let it hit you and just leave you there like that. So finally, number 5 is the Lord Jesus Christ. Now I was talking to my kids yesterday and I said to them, one of the biggest mistakes the devil has ever made in his life, he makes mistakes every day. He thinks he's clever, but he's never clever. He's always making mistakes. Was to let Jesus go to the cross. He thought by Jesus going to the cross would have been the end of Christianity, or would have been the end of our faith, or would have been the end of everything. But he did not realize that that was the beginning of bigger and greater things. When the women went to the tomb to go and look for Jesus, the angel was there. And he said to them, the Jesus Christ you're looking for, he's alive. He's no more here. He was in heaven, sitting at the right-hand side of God. So he was actually been exalted because he came down to die for our sins and to save us. So his death on the cross gave us direct access to God. Unlike back in the days we had to sacrifice animals. Even when he died on the cross, the curtain of the temple got ripped apart. So now we can speak to God directly. It was a tough time for him. He was wrongly accused. They didn't have anything. They stood there. In fact, when he was brought to us to be judged, he stood there in front of the king. And the people were actually looking for what to accuse him of. And they couldn't. So they brought false witnesses. And then even the king even gave an option. Okay, choose between Jesus or another guy who was a murderer. And everyone said, no. Let the murderer go. And let them crucify Jesus. And the devil thought he was winning the battle. Not realizing that that tough season he went through, being flogged for our transgression, dragging the cross, being nailed to it, was to set us all free. And today we can communicate with God directly because he went to the cross. So in as much as it was a tough time, yes, the other side has led to freedom, absolute freedom on this earth for you and I. So yes, the season might feel tough. You might be wondering, what do I do with myself? But I want to encourage you. The other side is always bigger and greater. Keep up the faith. Stay hopeful. Keep pushing through. So yes, no matter how tough it gets, keep moving. Keep pushing through. And I can assure you, the other side is always better. The other side is brighter. The other side is greater. I want to thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your comments. And next week, I'll be coming with a brand new series. And I'm excited and looking forward to it. So don't miss that one too. So let's keep joining every Sunday. Sunspiration. My name is Victor Tarifa. Stay blessed, and I love you all.